We're here with Paul, who has participated in our opioid recovery and flotation case study. Please tell us some of your takeaways from the 8-week program that you were involved in.
Sure. I had never done float tank experience before, but I've been aware of it. I had kind of been interested in checking it out. I have aspired to get into a few more mindfulness practices and never really been that terribly successful, primarily meditation, but this was one of the ones I knew was out there and people were exploring, so I was interested to see what kind of benefits would come from it. It took me a little while, several sessions to kind of get acclimated to the environment and what kind of experience I could have in it. I have tinnitus, it's permanent ringing in my ears, so that inside of the float tank and with the music or not music kind of took a few sessions for me to get acclimated. But once I did, I really did start to feel the kind of things that I would expect to come out of a very good meditation practice or good meditation sessions, maybe even more so on the physical end. And that happened even at the very beginning when I was still acclimating myself. Certainly the very first episode or first session, I remember thinking, wow, I just feel so like sort of reset or physically rested and well. And that was common throughout. As far as me just getting a little more into the mindfulness aspect of it, that's the part that kind of took me a while to get acclimated. But once I did, there were some really great sessions. It was a positive experience for certain. Although while I was doing it, I'm not sure, and it was a study, so you had us filling out these surveys every day about where we were at with focus at work and focus at home and anxiety and depression. And I'll back up a second and say that I came to this study with a lot of time in recovery from substance use disorder, and certainly interested in seeing if the float experience could play a role in helping me with that. I was sort of simultaneously trying to renew my meditation practice. It had never really been established. It was always sort of fits and starts and fits and starts. So for a while I was doing the floating, it was unclear to me because I was actually succeeding at doing more meditation, and I was doing it every day, and I was doing it for longer than I normally do, and I felt like I was getting more out of it. And so it was a little unclear to me, are some of the ways I'm feeling a little better today or this week because I'm meditating more? Is it because of the floating? And so it was a little unclear. But when the float study ended, it did become clear to me that there really had been more benefit to it than I think I appreciated. It was much more of a struggle, almost immediately, for me to continue to maintain the meditation practice at the level that I was. I wasn't getting as much out of it. So it really seemed like that once a week float experience was anchoring my mindfulness practice, or sort of helping me be more disciplined or more motivated or have a more centered sort of frame of mind to be able to sit down every day and do the 15 or 20 minutes of meditation and some of the other things that I was doing. So that was a huge benefit that I didn't, like we talked about, I didn't really realize until it was over. I don't know, what else?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay.
Did it affect any other areas of your life, whether it be sleep, for instance? Any changes there, or not really?
I think it affected my sleep, but I think that was more short term of an effect. I think, and I don't know, the way I answered the surveys might support this or betray it, but it seems like it affected or benefited sleep a little bit for a day or two after I floated, but maybe not just in the sort of over the course of the whole time. Whereas I think some of the things that were happening as far as me just feeling a little more centered and a little calmer and a little more, you know, motivated to do other things to benefit my, you know, my frame of mind, or, you know, that was happening for certain coming out of the floating. Whereas, yeah, this I mean, that was happening in a more long-term way, you know, for the whole week, for, you know, the whole next week. Whereas the sleeping thing maybe was a little more short-term. Just like the physical thing, I mean, I said I walked out of the sessions and would feel like, wow, I feel so really, you know, rested. And I mean, that's, you know, I wasn't feeling that 2 days later because of the session. So I think the sleep benefits were a shorter term kind of thing anyway.
Great. Well, thank you very much for sharing.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.